I call the November 18th, 2025 regular board meeting of Glencoe Park District to order. Lisa, please call the roll and state the time.
Great, it's 7:01. Commissioner Kobe,
Here.
Commissioner Reitman,
Here.
Commissioner Hazen,
Here.
Commissioner Guzman,
Here.
and Commissioner, is it Cummins? Is that close enough? Okay.
Welcome. Well, perfect. Consent agenda items, A and B are routine. I recommend, does any commissioner want any item pulled from the consent agenda items? No. I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Kobe,
Yes.
Commissioner Reitman,
Yes.
Commissioner Hazen,
Yes.
Commissioner Guzman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cusman. Cusman.
Yeah.
I want to say Cummins. Is it Cummins?
Just Cummins, like Cummins and.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got the wrong hyphen. Okay, got it.
Perfect. Matters from the public. Looks like we do have some members from the public. It is our practice not to address questions at this time. However, we'll be willing to take comments under advisement. Is there anyone here who would like to make a verbal comment? If so, please limit to 3 minutes. Any comments?
Want comments?
I mean, if you were here to make a comment to address the board on anything, this is the only time that we really allocate to the public. If you are here just to observe, you are more than welcome to stay and observe. It is up to you. Come on in. We do restrict it to 3 minutes. And as mentioned before, this is a time for you to address the board, and we do not answer questions. Come on up.
Thank you.
Okay. We just state your name.
Smile.
Sure. I'm Steffi Hirsch.
Welcome.
Thank you. I actually didn't know if I was going to talk today because I just was curious on the results of the survey for the beach because I was curious on what the community said, and so I wanted to hear the results and to see if there was information. Even though like everybody rates everything, I was more curious on what the comments were to see what people thought about the beach this summer, because I felt that it was a little bit different this summer from previous summers. So I guess I had a couple of suggestions, but I didn't, these are just my personal suggestions. One idea was to extend summer hours until 8 o'clock so that it could just be regulated a little bit more, because I found that during dinner hours, it just wasn't, there was more garbage and there wasn't as much regulation down there. So to just extend it to 8. Also, I noticed in the fall, there was just more garbage. There was full porta potties. The showers were left on. So, but I think that that has changed only because of our seasons have become really nice in the fall. And we have such wonderful facilities that I just think that we need more staff down there weekends to help facilitate people enjoying our beach. And then also, I noticed that at 9 a.m. when the gates open and for the beach during summer hours, I'm normally at yoga on the pier watching. So that's why I can see it. But I think the teens down there need help regulating, and it's because there's a large announcement saying it's 9 o'clock now. This is for beach holders, or we need to, pay at this point. Yet these are teenagers, and so I think it's really uncomfortable for them to be going up to these adults down there, and they're not really. They announce it, but then nothing happens. So I think that you guys are missing some revenue for this people enjoying the beach. And so there's about like 20 people down there and nobody's really doing anything because they're kids, and that's probably a very uncomfortable thing. So that's why I was here. I was just curious on what the survey results were in the miscellaneous sections.
Well, thank you for coming, and thank you also for staying under 3 minutes.
Did I do it?
Appreciate that. You did great. And this, I believe, is your first park board meeting.
This is my
so
first park board meeting. I
welcome.
didn't know that I was gonna
Congratulations on-
speak.
Love it.
We should talk to our teens who have a hard time and are uncomfortable and remind them that sometimes speaking is uncomfortable, but they should do what they're exit their comfort zone every
Yeah.
once in a while. So we appreciate you coming here. We are doing a pretty deep dive, I believe, tonight or December? Tonight on the beach.
Well,
No, I thought that these.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So tonight we're doing the end of the season report.
Right, and then,
Any operational discussions will be at the December committee meeting,
Right,
including the review of the survey.
yeah, so there was a survey that was done that we do every year. And we meet December 2nd.
Correct.
December 2nd. You are welcome to come and
Yep.
listen to that as well. And then we have a board meeting 2 weeks later, probably on the 16th of
Yeah.
December. We'll talk more about it as well, and you can also come and comment. Our goal is to be transparent with the beach survey. Excuse me, we have
We
heard,
always do.
you're not the first to mention some of these things. I think we had an extended summer weather this
Right.
time, which impacted some of the operations. So appreciate your comments. Lisa and I will chat about them and the board will take into consideration. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me
Thank you.
And you are more than welcome to stay for.
But it doesn't sound like this is, December 2nd is a better one.
Well, we're going to do the operational report. So you
Yeah.
might want to stay for that because it's, yeah. Yeah, it's a good one
Also,
to stay.
in case you ever can't come, we do have a transparency portal online at the Glencoe Park District. You can go to the site that says about to the board. All of our minutes are there as well. If you ever can't come or ever have to leave early, we try and be as open and transparent as possible. Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much. I would like to move to the truth and taxation hearing. This is an ordinance levying the tax at the Glencoe Park District, Cook County, in Illinois. A hearing is not required by the state statute due to the fact that the levy increase is less than 5%. But again, for transparency, we've decided to hold a hearing, although not required. Appropriate public notice has been served. So I declare a public hearing open to hear questions and comments on the levy ordinance. Is there any comments and questions about this ordinance? Okay. Well then, let's close the public hearing is now closed.
For minutes, no public was in attendance to talk about the hearing, so it was closed.
Yes. So I'd like to move on to the approval of the ordinance number 982, levying the tax for Glencoe Park District, Cook County, Illinois, for 2025. I entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 982, levy for the tax for 2025 tax year as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this? This is a topic that we talked about last time,
Just when we talk
but
about this.
happy to discuss it again. Okay, I don't think there is discussion, so roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Covey,
Yes.
Commissioner Reithman,
Yes.
Commissioner Hazen, Commissioner Guzman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cummins.
Yes.
Okay, I got it right that time.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's move on to the next agenda item, which is the presentation discussion of the 2025 Lakefront Report.
So,
Welcome.
if you, this is Shannon Stevens. She's our beach and also it's facility manager, but for the beach and Weinberg Ice Rink. And Adam is the assistant recreation director.
Well, thank you all for having me here tonight. Like Lisa said, I'm the facility manager of the beach and ice rink. So we'll jump right into what we're going to go over tonight. So we're going to go over the season overview, as well as staff and training, beach programs, overall financials, survey results, our Northbrook agreement, as well as future considerations. So looking at our season overview, some important dates that we are staffed. The swimming beach will be opens Memorial Day to Labor Day. Then the boating beach is from mid-May to mid-October. And then we have programming run from June 16th to August 15th. If you look at the two charts of our season, we had to adopt a model of preseason, regular season, and postseason. We tend to lose a lot of our staff, so having these different seasons help manage expectations throughout the time. Yeah. All right, so we continue to have our season pass holder model for the 2025 season. So residents and non-residents were able to purchase season passes, $38 for residents and $76 for non-residents, and those passes are per person. What gets a season pass is, or what you get with a season pass is 7-day access to the beach. You also have the opportunity to add on a guest pass, so you could bring up to 10 visitors down, and those cost $50 for residents and $100 for non-residents. And then you have daily admission. So it's $12 for residents, $24 for residents, and that is per person, but you only get access Monday through Friday starting at noon. So pass holders get exclusive 10 to noon. So all patrons are asked to leave if they are a non-pass holder Monday through Friday.
Doing a comparison of vice towns here as well. I saw it in the presentation.
So it's in the report, and then we'll go more into depth in it in that December 2nd meeting. Yep, thank you. So beach access, our goal is to keep the beach open, safe, and welcoming for both residents and non-residents while maintaining fair and consistent policies. We are a public funded facility, so access must follow state and federal laws that protect equal use of public spaces. For our parking, the parking at the beach is available to all visitors. We have a wide variety of users that come to the area. We have tennis players, playground goers, beach visitors, and parking spots in surrounding areas are managed by the Village of Glencoe. So the Village of Glencoe manages those spots, and then public safety then enforces that those policies. Staff at the beach do not oversee parking in our operation, but we do call public safety when issues are reported to our staff to help with that, with parking and ramp access. Right, our swimming area. So our swimming area is 50 feet by 200 feet. And these parameters are set in mind with safety, and they help meet our Perderma lifeguard requirements. Chairs are placed by running a number of drills for timing and visibility. So lifeguards are required to recognize a distressed swimmer in 10 seconds and then reach that swimmer in 20 seconds. So our center tower, Tower 1 that we call it, must be able to reach all areas of the swim zone within that 30-second standard. We often get times to request. We also get requests to expand the swim zone, but doing so would require 2 lifeguards on stand, regardless of the number of people in the water. And then on the north end of the beach, that is a designated boat launch. So in order to keep safety, it's really important to keep boaters and swimmers separate. So this is a diagram of what our swim zone currently is. As you could see, we have Tower 1 and Tower 2. So blue is all of what Tower 1 can cover in our swim zone, and the white buoys are what our swim zone is currently. So they must be able to jump off the tower and reach both corners within that 30 seconds and recognize a swimmer in distress. So that is our standard that we must keep. When we add a second lifeguard, those standards do not change. It just helps increase the coverage that we have down there. So if we hit our threshold of the number of people in water, we add that second tower, and it helps maximize our response time as well as what we're viewing. So they split the center of the zone, and one gets the right side, one gets the left side. All right. Yeah,
Can you go back to that?
of course.
This might be a dumb question.
No.
On the other side is
Mhm.
where you have the kayaks and the paddle boards and everything.
Yep.
Is there ever a lifeguard in the event that someone goes a little too far?
So that is our boating beach operation. So in that far left tower that we have at the beach, we call it our surveillance tower. So we put a boat guard in that tower, and they monitor everyone who leaves the beach and everyone who comes back to the beach, whether it be a kayak, paddleboard, Hobie. And then that's where our power boats come in if boaters need assistance.
Okay.
Yeah, great question.
Very good question.
Awesome. All right, so beach closures. As you can see, this summer we saw a decrease in all closures, but in the beginning of the season, we did see colder temps, so we had to close due to that. Staff test the water daily for high bacteria and close if the numbers over the threshold allowed. Managers down there are always monitoring the weather, and we follow a flag system. So we have green, yellow, and red. The green means you're good to swim. Yellow means use caution. We might be watching a storm. There might be a small craft advisory or a beach advisory. So we ask people to use caution entering the water, and then red means it's closed. During some of these closures, we are staffed. We'll have, for high surf, we have lifeguards rove to make sure no one's going in the water because everyone loves to play in the waves, but that is a very dangerous situation. We also this year increased our communication with closures. We created automatic emails through our Rec Connect. We have signage down at the beach, and then we also we still have Rain Out Line. Rain Out Line communicates to phones, an app, as well as a banner on our website. And then the signage, as you could see on our cart, that open sign is actually a slider. So if you pull it off, it says beach closed, no lifeguards on duty. And then we also have signs that say closed due to high surf or high bacteria. And then the emails that we created this year also went out as a text message on your phones if you opt into it for pass holders. So it's a great way to reach pass holders so they can plan accordingly. For our staff and training, we have, the beach is made up of 75 staff members from leadership staff, camp staff, boat guards, cashiers, lifeguards, and cart drivers. Approximately 95% of my staff is made up by high school and college age students. Training begins in early May, and it's about 20 hours of training. Over the last 2 years, we've really invested in more time in developing quality training, as well as continued learning via in-service trainings, as well as online trainings. My managers made online quizzes to help keep them on their toes. So diving deeper into lifeguard training, for our preseason, we implemented it this year. They had to do 4 hours of classroom training, a full day at the pool, and then a full day at the lakefront. Really focusing on their first aid, CPR, and then pool, you move to your rescues, and then waterfront, you learn the board, you have to do your waterfront swim, and then we practice all of our emergency action plans. During the in-season training, we had all staff trainings where we ran through from an emergency call down at the water to what the boat side did to what the cashiers did. And then for the first time this year, we didn't do it last year, I don't know about the years prior, we did a joint training with public safety. So public safety was able to come down, we initiated a 911 call, and then we transitioned the rescue from my staff to their staff. So one at a time, they pulled a lifeguard off as they put their staff into the training. And then on top of that, they also are required, lifeguards need to have 4 hours of in-service a month. So we offer in-services twice a week down at the beach. So Mondays at 8 a.m. and Wednesdays at 1:30. We have 4 in-house LGI, so lifeguard instructors that can teach these in-services. So really helpful in helping keep us on our toes. Audits. So on this slide, it's only our external audits, but we also do internal audits. We have this system in place. It's called red caps, scanning audits, and then VATs. So it's dropping mannequins in the water, initiating a full response to initiating a full code ATM, as well as just watching scanning, because scanning is the most important skill that our lifeguards have. So our standards are through the Red Cross, American Red Cross, but this year Starguard Elite, another lifeguarding agency, came down and audited us twice. And in those audits, the staff performed amazing, and we got 2 of the highest scores, exemplary. In this audit, we review our EAPs. So the auditor comes in, I have to produce all of our EAPs, all of our paperwork, as well as observations. These are the most important part of the audit. They will watch their scanning techniques to make sure that they can recognize a distressed swimmer in 10 seconds. And then from there, we'll do a full water rescue. So they will jump from the tower into the water, pull someone out, and then initiate that response depending on the prompts. We also will do a spinal in the water, and then we will do a first aid scenario. Yeah, really proud of my staff. They did amazing this year. For the structure, we have the beach managers report to myself, and from there, they oversee the head lifeguards, cashiers, and cart drivers. So we have, hold on, let me catch up on my notes because I got ahead of myself. So during all beach hours, one manager is on duty to supervise the overall operation from approximately 9 a.m. So they get in an hour before we open at 10. So they have time to get their ducks in a row, make sure all the staff come in, and that is 7 days a week. From then, when the beach opens, we have lifeguards come in about 30 minutes before that, and then they will get everything set up to get out on the water. And that is when they go out and check. We have to check the water for anyone in the water, as well as all the pass holders. Depending on the activities, we'll have 3 to 4 lifeguards on duty from 10 to 7 p.m. And then anytime we were open, we will have a cashier at the top of Hazel or Park. If it's raining, you might find them in the halfway house. This year, we saw a drop in staff expenses. I adjusted the manager's schedule to remove a 10 to 5 shift and then only hired 3 managers compared to 4 last year. Moving into my second season, I had a better understanding of the operation and really empowered staff to send people home or adjust schedules as needed. So calling in people, come in 2 hours later, it's not too busy. So that way we were really able to manage the expenses this year.
In these numbers, this is separate and apart from, say, the aquatics camp that happens, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just make.
Yep. All right, looking at the boating side, there's a bit more, it's a smaller but mighty operation. I have 3 different types of leaderships that report to me. So we have boat managers, camp leadership, as well as sailing instructors. The boat managers oversee the boat guards, and then camp leadership oversee the counselors. For our boathouse expenses, so this does not include camp counselor wages, we did see an increase in those managers, and that's because in the shoulder seasons, we heavily rely on managers. We don't have as many boat guards to help get the boathouse open or to help shut it down with moving boats and sandbagging. So that's why we see the increase in boat managers, and then you do see a slight decrease in boat guards, but that's just because we had more managers this season than guards available. All right. For past demographics, these are in line with previous years. Over 50% of pass holders are Glencoe residents, and our age breakdown continues to reflect that we serve families with ages 0 to 45, making up 64% of pass holders. On our average pass sales for the last 4 years, it's been about 6,200, and we expect to see that trend continue if we use our current admissions model. On the flip side, for daily admissions, our average daily admission revenue is about $67,000, and we expect it to remain steady in the future seasons. For pass visits, the average pass per visit, or the average visit per pass, continues to be in line with our break even of 3 visits. So if you buy a pass and come to the beach 3 times, you broke even. On our annual attendance, there was a slight decrease in the amount of visits, but with that being said, 51% of the visits to the beach were residents, and the attendance is always very weather dependent. So in the start of the season, when everyone's excited, it was less, I think, colder than 65 degrees, and we did not have many people down there with us. So it's very weather dependent. For our visits by day, the beach continues to see a high amount of visitors on the weekends. Sundays trended to be the busiest this year. We did not have the best weather on Saturdays. For our rental revenue, it continues to be the same over the last 4 years with an average of about $20,000. For our boat, kayak, and paddleboard rentals, they ebb and flow based on weather and wind conditions. We use caution when letting people out on our boats, just because they might not be experienced and all of that. But we do use them heavily for camps, whether it be Camp Adventure, Action Quest, or our aquatics and sailing. They're out on those kayaks every single day. So they are being used. Moving into boat storage on our boating beach side, our total has stayed the same, but we saw 1 catamaran fall off and we were able to replace it with a laser and sunfish or another boat. I can't remember off the top of my head. All right, so last year for one of our future considerations, we wanted to improve our boat storage wait list and create transparency with it. So I collaborated with customer service and Aaron to redesign the storage waitlist and improve accuracy, transparency, and accessibility. So we created a streamlined process of how you join the waitlist, as well as verifying residents that were currently on the waitlist, making sure they still lived in Glencoe, or if they still wanted a spot. We had multiple people offer spots and then pull off of the waitlist. And then we redefined the categories. So now it's 4 different categories. We have a resident sand spot, a resident kayak and sup, non-resident sand spot, and non-resident kayak and sup. So as of, I think, an hour ago, I pulled these numbers and we are sitting at 21 residents on the wait list, which compares to 2023, we had 79 residents, and in 2024, we had 82 residents. So you might ask, how did that happen? Verifying addresses, really, we sent out a Google form being like, do you still want to be on the wait list? Yes, no. Followed up with phone calls and emails. And then we also removed the discount for boaters. So in years past, boaters were able to receive a discount on the second and third boat that they brought down. So we saw a lot of people opt out of that and not bring their boat when we were able to fill it with someone who was on the wait list. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so actually, sorry, let me go back. So this is what our website currently looks like. If you go to our boating page, we have frequently asked questions on there. We also have a button. It's just a button to join the waitlist instead of a Google Doc that only I could see. And then you have the ability to check your waitlist status. And then up in the left-hand corner is what RecTrek looks like to sign up for the waitlist. So you just click what spot you're using, and then it also states our frequently asked questions again. Due to high demand, only 1 person per household can join the waitlist. And then from there, it's very clearly resident versus non-resident because there's actually 4 separate waitlists now. When you're checking your waitlist spot, the first page you'll see is our waitlist procedure. So it's how are you eligible for the waitlist? What's the application process look like? And then the waitlist structure. Residents get priority over non-residents. So if there's a spot, it goes to a resident first. If all the residents say no, then the non-residents are offered a spot. On the Google Doc. Yep.
No.
No. Okay.
Sorry, I was waiting for you to be done. I was just gonna say, this whole thing is a tremendous improvement. It is, I remember signing up for the wait list where it was like an email.
Yeah.
I think that our residents probably really appreciate all the work that you put into this. The whole system seems very organized, very transparent. You know where you are. I just love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So you could go to the tab of what you registered for, and it's the space type, your household number, and what spot you are on the wait list. And it'll always say the last day I updated it. So you could just go to their website, see exactly where you are, and then I will reach out and then move people in as we get spaces. Another project we took on in this off season was the boater safety videos. So again, partnered with Aaron to create a series of boater safety videos to help enhance safety practices for the public and our boaters down at the beach. The demographic has changed down there. Instead of having, firefighters and everyone run our boathouse, it's high school and college age students. So what are we able to offer these boaters? So really deep dove into what the boating beach looked like, and we created these park perspectives. So there's a boater safety introduction, a know before you go, what should I know before I get out on the water, as well as our boater assistance limitation, really defining what assistance was. It's not rescue, it's getting out there and helping them. For our boathouse storage, with all the changes that we made, we did see the revenue increase. Removing that discount really and replacing those boats with that first fee brought our revenue up. So we'll continue to see that remain steady. All right. Oh, sorry, I'm going ahead. Okay, so programs at the beach. So we offer aquatics and sailing camp. We also offer sailing classes on Saturday for adults, youths, and families. We also offer fitness classes during the week as well as on weekends, and then special events. So looking at our aquatics and sailing camp, our enrollment has declined, but in 2022, we transitioned from a half day to full day. So now we're seeing kind of where we stand with this camp. And since our enrollment was down, we added a week 9 option that was just 1 week of aquatics camp. It was called beach camp. And that's how we got our projected revenue up. We filled that out with like 33 campers compared to like the 28, 25 we were seeing in season. So offering that week 9 will continue into this next year. Yeah.
Just a quick question.
Mhm.
Why is that still say projected on there? Is it not finalized yet? Your revenue for 2025?
Shannon, do you mind
Back.
Yeah.
sliding back there?
Finalized by now, I would presume.
There may be some additional like credit card expenses outstanding when we do it.
Like
It's just
90
practice wise,
so it's-
we don't want to be.
And it's calendar year
Yeah.
there, that's reflected.
Yep.
So it's technically fiscal 26.
Yeah, I hope you're not gonna have any more camps in fiscal.
We do tend to buy some supplies in the fall
Yeah.
and materials in order ahead of time. So
The revenue's steady, but you
Some of
know,
the costs may-
Hobie cats tend to
Are you buying more boats?
no replacement parts.
Okay.
I got a new tramp.
Look,
Thank you. Then sailing classes. So sailing classes, we changed the structure back last year to offer all of the classes on Saturday. We have puddle jumpers, family sailing, and tri-sailing. You will see a dip in enrollment, and that is due to our dedicated staff sailing instructor ended up getting his own boat and sailing in a neighboring community, so we do not have him anymore. So we did our best with the staff that we have down there to be able to really offer these classes and fulfill our, you know, what the community needs. So we were able to run them, but just not at the capacity that we were last year.
Question on that.
Yeah.
Have we partnered with, say, like the yacht clubs, like the Chicago Yacht Club, or like with, I know like New Trier has a sailing club, or like, is that an opportunity possibly?
So I go to New Trier
Yeah.
at least like 3 times a year to ask kids to work for me. And we just haven't had luck finding that true dedicated sail. And if they do, they tend to work for the aquatics and sailing camp. So
Gotcha.
with
I can
ours-
speak a little bit to that too. There's a yacht club called Sheridan Shore, which in all transparency, I'm actually on the board of as well, nonprofit and Will Met. And they actually do some contractual providing to Winnetka Park District and some others. They struggle with getting staff too.
Wow.
What ends up happening with the New Trier kids is they're actually doing higher level sailing down the city and traveling all over the United States doing. So it's actually really, it's a problem all across the North Shore getting quality sailing instructors. So there's not a huge amount of them available. So we would love to get them, but there's not a huge amount of availability.
Got it.
Some special events that we offered, it was Summer Splash, Beach Camp Out, Trellis Table, Cardboard Regatta, Movies on the Pier featuring Mamma Mia, and then Beer on the Pier. The last initiative we took on this summer was Beach Safe. So this used to be a special event down at the program or down at the beach, and we redesigned it to be a program to teach essential beach safety skills. Working with Erin again, she's a part of a lot of my goals. We created this interactive pamphlet, taught kids about the weather flags, rip currents, how to flip, float, follow, what it takes to be a lifeguard, and life jacket safety. So I was able to present to Children's Circle, District 35 South and West schools. We educated over 700 students on this. And at the end of the program, they were able to get a Be Safe Swimmer certificate, a junior lifeguard sticker, and branded GPD crayons. It's right now, I'm working on phase 2 of this program. So stay tuned. I don't know what it is yet, but it was really awesome to see the kids come down and recognize what the flag colors were this year. So really teaching those essential skills. For our beach house financials, our revenue is down due to pass sales, like we said. We had a slow start to the season due to the weather, but we were able to manage expenses to make what we are projecting compared to what we budgeted, which was a deficit of $9,000. For our boathouse expenses, revenue and expenses are up. A major factor was an insurance claim for a boat from a few years ago that we were finally able to purchase. And it is, as you can see, it hit both the revenue and expenses about $20,000. But we are in line with a total being at that 62. So our overall financials, we added the budgeted. So you could see from where we are projected to what we had budgeted. And overall, we were able to manage expenses while being down in revenue on the beach side, and we had a strong turnout with our programs down at the beach. For the 10-year data, looking over the last 10 years, our current model has allowed us to keep our revenue and cost per visit to trend positively. For our survey results this year, we saw a total of 236 pass holders respond, down from last year. But for our overall satisfaction, 91% of the survey participants were satisfied with the beach. About 88% of beachgoers thought the value of their beach pass was good or better. And then for our beach staff rating, across all 5 categories, we had an average of 94% of pass holders that thought the staff was good or better. For beach amenities, as you look at the amenities, largely people are satisfied, but a portion of the lower areas are being addressed by our upcoming referendum projects. That being beach house restrooms, as well as spray grounds and sun shelters. The concern around parking is not a new issue, but we are working with the village to help address these concerns. This was the second year we had the Explore Illinois pass, but this year we created a way to track these passes. So we have a partnership with Reaching Across Illinois Library Systems to offer Glencoe beach passes. Families are able to check out a pass to provide access for up to 6 family members. So this year we had 677 patrons check into the beach, and 322 of those were on the weekend when it was pass holders only. And then the pass locations, this actually reaches 25 libraries, but this is where most of the participants checked out. Our Northbrook agreement continued again this year. For Glencoe residents, we get resident rates at Northbrook's 2 pools as well as their aquatic programs. And then we also get resident rates at the Northbrook Dog Park, which is up this year to 24. And then Northbrook residents get resident rates at the Glencoe Beach, but only for our passes and not for our daily admission. So if they choose to do daily admission, they still have to pay that $24. Looking at the past data, we did see a slight decrease in visits to the Glencoe Beach by Northbrook patrons, but our Glencoe community members, our visits actually increased. And if you look at the revenue per visit, Glencoe residents are getting that lower rate or more use out of those passes for the $11, and then the Glencoe Beach revenue per visit is about $28. All right, last but not least, future considerations for next year. We are looking to transition from American Red Cross to Starguard Elite as our certifying body and aquatic risk prevention agency. We are looking to adjust the aquatics and sailing camp to match enrollment weeks to traditional camps, as well as the age groups. Instead of doing from 2 to 8, we're doing grades 2 to 6. But then we also have the CIT program that will capture the grades that we're missing now for 7 to 10, grade 7 to 10. I'm working on creating a new boater handbook as an onboarding tool for new and existing boaters, and then exploring the cost analysis of expanding beach hours and services and its financial impact on the operation. Thank you for your time.
So I'd like to thank Shannon and Adam for a great season. Whenever you get out of a beach season with no catastrophic injury or, shall I say, death, we're happy when that season ends and everybody had a great experience. So thank you. That's not an easy task, and it's great. As with every season, the board, and 4 of you are new, so may not realize this, is that we thank the team for a wonderful season. We want to recognize all the hard work that goes in it before we go, okay, we want to make up what can we improve. So thank you for a wonderful team. And you had an excellent team, and it was evident in the customer service that we provided, and absolutely our audits, which was outstanding. So next steps. What we do is that we bring to the board is there any questions about any operational changes or service changes we would like to bring to the whole board for consideration? And then you will get a copy of the survey emailed to you later this week or early next week. And I asked that if you have any questions or suggestions, more data that you would need to make any operational, just to discuss any operational changes in that December meeting, to let me know. For example, I'll tell you, because the staff does the same exact thing, and we look over the survey and we're like, okay, we probably should bring this to the board to discuss. A lot of the items I'm going to tell you is things that the board has discussed in detail many years, but now we have a new board. So, for example, there's things like, should we look at expanding operating hours from 7 to 8? And then we would bring back data, what that would cost the district and what other surrounding neighborhood beaches are doing also, and how that affects us. Should we increase the swim zone? And if we do that, what's the cost? Can we just do it for weekends? And if we say, oh, we only want to do it for weekends, what's the implication to staff on expanding and detracting the swim zone, and also on safety because of confusion? And again, bring the additional cost of what that would be. Rocks on the beach. We get this every year in the survey. Is there anything we can do about rocks on the beach? I'm not even kidding. And should we bring sand in? Should we truckload sand in, and what that cost is and what permitting is required of that? And also discuss why Wilmette and Evanston has more sand than we do. And they get all our sand. But we'll educate that. But every year we get that. What can we do about the rocks? And do you want us to go and pick all the rocks up? I mean, it's not as easy as you think. So that's something we do have to discuss if they want us to do that. Should we allow dailies on weekends? We get that request. And if so, what are the pros and cons? Should we do it for only part of the day? No, we want to keep it the way it is. So that's something for the board to discuss, because that was also on there. The weather appears warmer for the last 2 Septembers. Should we change the operation, and what does that look like? And what is feasible for that?
And
What?
what are the other?
And what other beaches? We'll bring the data that, yep, for that. Cart drivers, people ask, we want the cart driver the whole time we're open from 10 o'clock till whatever. What will that cost? We can do all this, but we were told in the past to make sure we balance our budget. So these are all things that we could do, but everything comes with a price tag, right? Any operational changes that we can do that can influence our parking challenges. Talk about that. Along with looking at what our area park districts do for parking and what we do, and the differences to the parking scenarios between all of them. We talk about the reciprocal agreement with Northbrook. Is it still a benefit for our users, and should we continue that and sign that on? It's a yearly thing that I approve based on the board feedback. So those are some of the things we're looking at. I want you to know that we actually met with all the area park districts earlier this week to talk about their operations, what they did this year, what they're looking at for changing next year. And that's data we will also bring to the board once we have it all finalized and made look pretty. In addition, the village is also doing the same thing and getting some data from neighboring areas about the parking situation. As we said, parking obviously isn't in our purview, but we are working with the village. We've met twice already. We plan to work with the village of having a town hall strictly on the parking issue. So that way we can talk to that in more detail, because that came up in the survey, and it's really not ours, but how can we work together and try to address those challenges in an open forum. So that's kind of what we have, but if the board wants us to absolutely look into anything else, if you want any other data that you think would help make a decision on these, we're going to talk about these because there's a long list. I don't expect the discussion to end at the December meeting. We have time. We normally I would say there's budget constraints about how we're going to operate, and there still is that portion that is going on a timeline. But we also know that next year we'll be under construction at the beach. So the after season may not be as big as an issue next year, because more than likely we'll be closing the beach after Labor Day, if we have all the permits and everything.
To redo the trellis. and
The
the-
trellis, the
Right,
trellises and the
trellises,
walkways, all that stuff is gonna, so we're gonna have to close the beach because there won't be access to the washrooms. So next shoulder season, we'll have a different frustration,
Yeah.
which is people will be mad at us for not being able to go down the beach. But change comes progress.
Yeah.
So we have a little time in that, but if we want to extend our operating hours to 8 during the season, we'd have to make that decision sooner or later. Things like the add sand, things like that, are things that we need to make a decision sooner rather than later for budget implications. So off the top of your head, is there anything else that you would like staff to bring back and provide more data? So it could be anything. You tell us like, I want you to do this, and then we're not going to discuss it tonight. I'm just going to bring that
Right.
to the next meeting.
I think you hit on a lot of them, which is around the hours of operation, which is earlier in the morning, later in the evening.
Right?
Um,
Oh, and put earlier.
Early in the morning, later in the evening. The seasonality, do we extend the season
Yep.
a couple weeks? Knowing that this year is going to be an anomaly.
Yep.
What do we want this to look like even in the off season? Do we want during even the cold times, how do we want to deal with the bathrooms down there? Do we want to have guards there on the weekend? Things like that. I think a lot of it revolves around, do the hours work and do the dates work? And I think
Mhm.
those hit probably 90% of what I'm hearing. So I think it's,
From what I've heard too.
and coming with us, understanding what other park districts are doing, where we are competitively, I think is helpful.
And salaries, or I guess the financial
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, the fin-
The final, yeah, we
Yeah.
would bring the financial implications
Yeah.
to all this to the board, and
Mhm.
we'll also bring the feasibility of, can we find staff? We'll be honest about that, and if we have to,
Right.
if we're having a hard time finding staff, what does that mean for their salary? But,
Yeah.
you know, thing,
It's-
but
it's-
we'll bring all that to you, so that way, you know, we can do a lot. It's just that
Yeah.
it's up to the board to
think those are
decide
the-
what we want to do.
Lisa, I think those are the three key areas
Great.
is the hours and the service levels.
Not the rocks on the beach.
Not,
No,
the rocks,
I don't understand the cart issue, I
so
guess. I
the
don't,
cart is not there at all. There's a cart
I've
that,
seen the cart every once in a while.
it's not there 100%.
It's there, what,
9:45, the staff get in, and then they'll stay till 5. If it's extra busy, we might be nice and have them stay an extra hour, or managers sometimes hop on it. If there's anyone who really needs the cart, we'll pull it back out and get them up the hill.
Okay.
But that was one of the comments on the survey, have the cart go, have it guaranteed all the time. Well,
Yeah.
there's a financial implication
Right.
to that
Yeah.
service.
I had a question, or maybe another area of suggestion is,
Yeah.
as we're building out, the new infrastructure, I would anticipate that there'd be an increased demand in
A what?
use, an increase in demand.
Possible, yes.
Have we thought of what the operating model or financials might be around that? Does it make sense to look at that?
As
Not-
far as, well, right now, our beach is not at capacity, at any time. During the normal beach operations, I probably would say it was at capacity after a season on a weekend or two, right? Without a doubt, I think it was. But during their season, I think what was the highest?
My highest day was 760 people.
So that's the highest, which isn't even, I think the capacity of that beach is.
Yeah.
we're
But
close
it
to-
felt busy.
Yeah, it feels busy, not saying that, but
Yeah.
that was one day, most of them, we've had
Yeah.
1,000 people days and,
Yeah.
When I was there, I hate saying that, but when I was there, it was 1,500 people regularly on
Regularly on
a
the weekend.
day, so twice that amount.
Yeah.
I
it's,
think-
it's capacity, which we changed past, well, we could talk about that, what the load we want on the beach.
Yeah.
But as far as increase in demand, it may or may not increase it. We don't know until we
Mhm.
build it, right?
Yeah, I
Until we
think the
bring it
sun
in.
shelters will probably
was gonna
see.
say,
I'm
their
thinking
sun
the
shelters-
sun shelters will, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there will be, if you look back and I think about sort of that COVID season, 2021, where it was crowded.
Yeah.
It was, I think there's,
Y-
but you're right, like we should think about, not necessarily for this year, but I think for next year or in
I see.
12 months from now, we should think about what the pricing model looks like.
Yeah.
But we look at it every year anyway.
Yeah. And I'm not sure when is the right time. Maybe it is in 12 months, but knowing what we're planning to do down at the beach, it might be a good opportunity for us to start thinking about are there any actual changes that are going to happen to the operating model because we're making more enhancements down at the
Yeah.
beach?
I will
Um,
say we are adding a lot more water spray features that are going to be really cool. And so we should probably expect that there'll be an increase in
Yeah.
demand based and those and the sun shelters. I think, again, it's a positive. It's really cool. I love the
Mhm.
new
It's
layout
all
that's
right.
proposed.
Right.
Anything new is going to have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It does.
Yeah.
It's gonna have,
Yeah.
It does. But if you look at the numbers from
Take a year though.
20, we're about 50% the number of visitors in 2025 as we were in 2021.
Can you go back to?
that. I saw those numbers. That was
yeah.
startling.
And
The,
the other thing I want to put in here, which I don't think you guys get credit for a little bit, is I don't know if you saw that
Can you go
footnote.
to attendance? Do you
We've
have
spent a
attendance?
lot of time on
The
trying to figure
attendance?
out how do we overcome the minimum wage increase.
yeah,
And the minimum wage increase almost doubled.
Right.
All of these people who are working, my kid included, they used to be making $8 an hour, are now making like 15. That is a huge
yeah.
financial impact. That 15 is also compression out there. So your beach manager who was making 16 now makes 19.
Right.
Because you want to have your beach manager making 20% more than your sort of frontline worker out there. So the especially here where it's mostly high school, college, part-time, the implications of this, it just gets to be expensive. I think you've done a good job managing it. But I remember we actually did during COVID. Do you remember that we did that, like, how many square feet does each person need? And
Yeah.
should we actually thought about, do we take rope and like section off places? We obviously did not.
No.
Bobby
Those,
can
the
speak
the
to this.
51,000, just to remind everybody, that was actually over a lot. I think it was over 4 months. It wasn't over 3 months too, because we
Yeah.
extended the season due to COVID and people weren't
Right.
at college and we had more staff and things like that. Yeah, it was long. The other thing is before we moved to the pass holder model, we used to see really big spikes on days when the weather was good. So if it was 85 degrees, we'd see 1,500 people go to the beach. And if it was 70 degrees, we'd see almost nobody go to the beach
Right,
because
you've
no one's,
flipped.
yeah, no one's
you've
going to
flipped it.
pay
Look,
to go to the beach on a bad day.
if you look at 2016, is that on the board? When did I don't remember when I started, but you look at 2016, you had over 200,000 in daily admission and only 60,000 in pass.
Correct.
We have completely flipped that paradigm, and now we're at 270 in pass and 70 in daily.
Mhm.
Because people would say, I'm only gonna go to the beach on nice days. So you've kind of we switched that around COVID
Yeah.
and really pushed the passes. We are absolutely, in my opinion, leaving revenue on the table with the lack of weekend single purchases.
Yeah.
But you're also curtailing demand a little bit and making the experience a little bit better for those who have season passes. So we will have to discuss the philosophy
Yeah,
of
that'll be one of the discussion points.
what
Yeah.
that looks like out
Without
there.
a doubt. Yeah.
But then I think Bobby, or I don't know if Bobby or Lisa came up with some really creative ways for those who are economically disadvantaged to get free passes by going to the library and things like that. So we have to think about who we want to be. While the revenue covers a lot of these costs that we have, taxpayers do fund,
Yeah.
the park district and the facilities. So there's this really delicate balance there that'll be interesting to have that conversation.
Yeah. And there are laws that govern us about what we can and cannot do.
Yeah.
So just so everybody knows that, we have to allow non-residents, and we cannot make the fees so much more that it's
There's a
I guess,
ratio.
yeah, not equal. So we usually go with the OSLAD requirement is double. So that's what we do for the beach. We go double. So if we're charging 20, it's 40. So that's kind of, so you know that.
I have a question. And maybe I'm looking at this wrong. The individual pass on page 64. I don't think we've talked about this today.
So yeah, when we changed,
Page
no,
60.
That's not it.
it was.
Appendix, I'm sorry, the appendix. I apologize. So it's page 64 as far as in the price comparison, yeah. Sort of what jumped off the page here, if we're comparing apples and apples, is that we're charging far less than the towns that we're comparing against.
But it's a single, I think.
Is it
ours
different?
Was a single person. So we went from like a family pass, like it was $60 for a family or something.
Yeah.
to like 38 for an individual. So I'm trying to figure out what page you're actually,
Commissioner Hazen,
I
you're right.
don't see a page
A lot,
64 in here.
a lot of the other districts, what they'll do is they'll say it's a very high upfront for the first pass and much cheaper, like $10 for the second pass.
Okay.
There was a discussion at the board maybe 3 or 4 years ago,
Yeah.
but making it more equitable for, are we discriminating against families of 1 and 2 versus families of 5? And the board at the time and staff felt it was appropriate to do a per pass, more of an equitable per pass model. Talking with Winnetka, they're moving to the same model as us for next year. So they're actually moving from that like $130 first
Okay.
pass to a kind of like more of a $40 per pass because they're getting
So
similar.
even though it's listed as comparison, it's really not apples to apples. then.
Correct.
Exactly.
All
That's
right, that's what I figured. but I
We
didn't-
got good-
It wasn't there.
But the family, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, that's why you added that column on the right.
The
If
family
you
of
are
Yeah.
on the right, if you're a family of 4, which is a more typical
Yes.
Yeah.
thing, it's 152 per resident, 167 at Wilmette, 160 at Winnetka, and free at Evanston.
Mhm.
For the local people, for the local residents. And yeah, we will go through this, unfortunately, we will go through this painstakingly to do it. The thought here is that it doesn't impede a senior citizen or a single person who wants to just buy it for themselves. If you have a family pass, it's like $70 or 150 for the family, and I'm just me. So there was a lot that went into it. We do have an older population here in Glencoe, and while we don't have many folks here for a truth in taxation, even though that was put in the newspaper and broadcast widely, when you start to mess around with these beach rates, people raise their hands and start talking. We hear quite frequently the argument that I was just talking about. I live here, I pay taxes here, the beach should be free. And it's hard to compete with that argument.
We do offer, they're free for senior citizens.
We do offer.
We do.
There's
Free seniors over 65.
Yeah.
free
or
seniors,
65.
but they have to, when they bring their guests, they've got to pay for their guests, they pay, kids have to pay for things. It turns out, for $38 for the whole season, that's why you have that other chart that shows how often you come. And most people, by the way, when you have the pass, most people stay for like 2 or 3 hours. If you're gonna buy that day pass, you're gonna stay
All day.
Yeah.
All day.
all day, get your money's
Correct.
worth.
Mhm.
There's a,
So we try to make the value, when we'll look at that, we try to make the value in buying a pass, right?
Mhm.
We want to make sure, okay, if you buy a pass, it pays off in at least 3 visits, I believe, right?
Yep.
Adam? And, boy, that's cheaper than if I want to go, twice a month even. So we try to make the draw to buy the pass and the daily fees, so much so that, it
Yep.
makes sense to buy the pass for both resident and non-residents.
And that's
be honest.
also more predictable financially for us, right? To help
100%.
staff and all of that.
Absolutely. We would
100%.
like people to buy the passes as opposed to daily. Because if we have a really bad
Yeah.
cold summer, that could ruin us
Which we've
financially,
had.
but if the passes, it's already in hand.
Which we've had, the first 6
Yeah,
weeks are
right, we
bad.
had that this year.
We've
But-
had,
but
we've
no-
had that.
that when you have that.
Yeah.
Next year, it's gonna be harder to sell those passes because
Oh, exactly.
When
you're
Because
in a
that
cold
is the
because
spring.
it saves you for one season,
Yep.
and then the
Yeah.
second season comes along and it's like, wait a second, last year I bought a pass and it didn't work. And then,
It's true.
and that's why you have that, that hook of the, hey, well, if you want to go on the weekends, you gotta have the pass. So
Like on the
there's,
holidays, you have to have.
right,
that. So
there's some art and some science mixed in
Mhm.
here. It is not an easy formula to crack.
Yeah, and it's hard, it's always hard compared to our neighboring because it's not apples
Yeah.
to apples like you talked about. Some people like, oh, we're gonna charge less for a pass because we're gonna charge it for parking. So there's all these different scenarios that we have to look at as we go through and that we'll present.
I think we can provide some more data as well in
Yeah.
December. We
Absolutely.
had a really
Our
good meeting we
beaches-
can bring.
Yeah,
Harder
we'll
to
bring
get to,
all
you gotta
those
walk
data.
up and down a hill. I mean, like, but I'll tell you,
More
it,
rocks.
people talk about this. They're like, oh, well, at Wilmette, it's sort of surface level and it's easier and these are the beautiful things. This is what
We're
nature
fit
gave
in
us.
Glencoe now. 'cause
It's what
we're
nature
out.
gave us and we will work with it.
Did you ever see the movie Shawshank
Yes,
Redemption?
I love that.
I'm like, people just can put it in their pants and carry it off it.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Ferris Bueller's was filmed there.
But anyways, so if there's anything, as you're thinking about this, as you get the survey, the full survey results, when you look through them, like, okay, wow, I see this, can you provide, and when I give you the survey, I'll also type out these things that we're already looking at, so you know.
Yeah.
But, would we really want, I would really want to talk about this. Anybody can bring, tell me whatever you want to talk about. We'll bring that data. It has to be
Yep.
3 meetings. It's going to be 3 meetings. That's fine because such a new board here. We probably discussed all this before, but it's
Okay.
great to bring it up and talk, we serve at the pleasure of the board. So, ultimately, those are your hard decisions to make. And, just that when we do offer more services, I always say that something has to give someplace, right? So if we offer more services, then what are we going to
Yeah.
take away? Improvements to the beach in the long run? So something has to give, but
It would be interesting, I'll look at John. It'll be interesting for you if you could think about a model that just in general tells us for every extra hour of operation, it costs us Y dollars during the course of a day. So if you go from, right now, we're at what, 9 to 7, 10 to 7. If you go from 9 to 7, the extra hour costs you this.
Yeah.
And then think about, if we open up and stay a day later, what that model looks like. If it's a full model of lifeguards, boathouse, everything versus just monitor, guard to see what's going down. Like that will be helpful, I think, to make
We're
this
working
decision.
on that and we'll bring that to
That'd
the
be
next
helpful to
meeting.
know for if we consider the extending the season.
yeah.
Like proposals maybe of various levels of crew and what the cost would be.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And that's where we're planning on bringing those to you.
Yep.
And we'll be honest, it's
not
a
cheap.
problem throughout the state of Ellen, actually every state. It's really hard to find lifeguards after Labor Day because we have, like we said, nothing's impossible. You just have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh, it still might be impossible. We still may not be able to find them because the staff we hire are very, very good. And so that means they're very, like Shannon's nodding, very active in high school, very active in their sports, their theater, their clubs. And so once it's really tough, actually, once they go back to school, even to get
Yeah.
kids to come on those final weekends to lifeguard. So, we'll be honest about some of I wish I could say yes to everything. We'll be honest about some of our limitations and we'll try, but that lifeguarding is really hard. And that's why you see all the pools close. There's not aquatic centers open in September either because they can't find lifeguards. Also, they would like to keep open too.
Shannon to pump the propaganda at South and West. It'd be
Yes.
great, but lifeguarding is so cool.
Yeah.
Us kids 10 years from now.
And we do actually. That's how he got his kid.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
they do. And as the parent of one of the lifeguards there, I'll tell you, when August 20th rolls around and New Trier starts, New Trier is all business. And we were talking earlier, 5 of us were talking earlier about babysitting and non-board things. But we talked about the babysitter that comes to your house is in New Trier.
Yeah.
They come to your house, they babysit, they watch your kids, and they study.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so taking a 4-hour chunk out, and I know because my kid did it, she did it a couple times, and then she got off the schedule because she couldn't handle it.
Mhm.
So it is
That's
finding the
hard,
right
yeah.
people is hard if you have lifeguards. Now, I do think it is our due diligence to look and see, are there other options?
Oh, absolutely.
To not just have lifeguards,
That
but
might be a little bit easier.
yeah, that may be
Yeah.
easier. So
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So we'll bring those scenarios, we'll bring them all to you. So,
And I'm
Absolutely.
assuming in the modeling, we're also not just talking about lifeguards. We're talking about the incremental expenses of maintaining facilities, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
absolutely.
yeah, but lifeguards,
Right. That's like,
lifeguards are longer
Thank
pole
you.
in the tent.
Yes, there's other expenses. associated.
Right.
Absolutely, we'll
Right.
bring those too. Thank you
Yeah.
for bringing that up.
yeah,
Jackie.
yeah.
Yeah, staff
make a note of that.
staffing's a long pole in the tent, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's the
So
big one.
To me, that's the harder one because that's like the one, to your point, there's a supply and demand issue.
Yeah.
Then there's the other one that we can control a little bit better.
Yeah,
because we have
yeah.
better insight.
But like, for example, at the spray ground, if we keep that open past Labor Day, we talk about this at Duke Park. It's costs a lot
Yeah.
to run those. So that's why Duke Park
Somebody
is
will
closes
shut
at
up
Labor
the
Day.
wa- We'll, we can think of.
And we could talk about that. We're like, okay, we're gonna have this open, but our spray features won't be.
Yeah.
There's things we can do and that is decision. We can say, okay, this level serves this and we can adjust it. So we'll bring all that for
Yep.
a great discussion with the board. Yeah.
And I definitely appreciate all your help on that. I know it's, we do this often and,
Yeah.
um,
That's fine. It's great because,
Good for us
things
to change.
change.
Yep.
The weather has changed over the last 2 years in September. And now it could change again. We've seen it go where it's really hot and then boom, it's down and all this talk is for nothing, right? Because it's going to be 70 degrees and no one's there. So did you have?
Yeah, what's the timing on the work the village is doing on the adjacent issues?
The parking
Yeah.
issues, they're working on it now also. They're looking at what other areas are doing. They're coming to solutions. We were thinking possibly having the community meeting in December. I don't know if that's going to be possible with the holidays, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to rush it and then people not be able to attend because they're so busy with the holidays. Then we get hit that with that too. So it might wait till January because then we get more participation from the community, which is what we want, right? Especially for that one to, a lot of it's, a lot of times education also, so we want to make sure we do that too.
Cool.
But because the board should be very involved in that process, go to those meetings as citizens also, so.
Yeah, it's, I'll say this in then I'll shut up. We have to also remind ourselves that one of the reasons we're on the board here is I think each and every one of us has a good pulse on the community.
Yeah, mhm.
This is a time to listen to your friends, listen
Yep.
to your colleagues, listen to your constituents.
Yep.
What do they want
Mhm.
from the beach? And try to get that 360 view as well, because that can bring here. And of course, we have matters in the public. People are welcome to come as well.
Right, anything else on that?
No, really appreciate the.
Again, thank you
review.
again
Thank
for a
you.
great
Thank
season.
you.
We appreciate all your hard work. And it really is great. Good job in your presentation.
Okay, thank you so much. Speaking of financial and fiscal, we're about 8 months into the fiscal year. The report is available on the board packet. John can share a synopsis of the financial report. Thank you, John.
All right. Thank you, President Covey, and good evening, commissioners. We did a projections update last month, more in depth, so I'll be rather brief tonight, but just want to point out a few things here. So as we look at our recreation department here, the programs, we're looking at about 18% up from the prior year in terms of revenue. And that's due to many of the programs that we discussed last month: Kids Club, Game On, Action Quest. Our camps are thriving. Kids Club is thriving. And the percentage of expenditures there are right in line with the prior year, sitting at about 47%. As far as Children's Circle, just want to point out that October had 3 payrolls. So that obviously increased the expenditures for October. So we see our numbers about $100,000 behind where it was last year, which is really a good thing. We budgeted that way, and that's telling us that some of those very important positions down in the early child care wing are fully staffed, and we're getting the support and staff that we need down there. On the whole, we are still projecting that Children's Circle will be about $100,000 better than what we had budgeted in terms of revenue over expenditures. Fitness, we discussed a few months back. Fitness is looking good for this year. Significant bump. Beach and boating, I'm not going to speak too much to. Obviously, not a ton of activity. As far as Weinberg goes, we are starting to see some activity trickle in here. On the revenue side, past revenue is starting to come in. It's looking like it's a bit behind last year, but really too early right now to reach any conclusions on the past revenue. Obviously, it was a warm fall, so that could impact it. As far as expenditures look, so a bit higher right now than where it was last year. Timing differences are a big part of it. So basically, we incurred expenditures sooner for various items. We're also having an issue with our 22 vendor. We placed an order for that in September, and it's looking unlikely that we're going to get that order. So the cost there is reflected there, and that'll likely be absorbed into our Weinberg budget for this year. As far as G&A goes, that's looking relatively flat. Won't speak too much to that. The Parks Department is up compared to the prior year. That's due to timing of tree trimming work along with the Shelton Path project. We had budgeted $100,000 for the pavement work at Shelton on the Shelton Path. So we're expecting that our parks expenditures are going to exceed where we were at last year. And then on a positive note, the TAKEF admin and corporate admin departments, we see that we're still well behind last year. And that is still because of the second installment of property taxes. But hopefully everybody is now aware, maybe not great as a resident, but the property taxes are due December 15th. So we certainly welcome that, and we'll be expecting some pretty large distributions here toward the end of December and early in January. We did schedule our debt service payments, which are due December 1, so those will be paid beforehand. So again, just a prime example of our prudent, conservative fund balance policy, really kind of saving us right now and making sure that we don't have any bond compliance issues. With that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
I will comment that it took me a little bit of time to figure this out because my math skills could be better. But when I looked at my bill, which finally came, my school District 35 is up 5%. New Trier is up 5.4%. The Village of Glencoe is up 6.5%. The library was up 5.9%, but for some reason the Park District was only up 3.3%. So I would encourage you all to also look at your tax bills and see the rate of increase at the Park District was significantly lower than the Village, which I attribute to some of the golf course, and the high school, which, you know, the schools are doing different initiatives. But it does show that what, you know, for at least for 2024, we are fiscally thoughtful of the constituents. The debt that we raised does not add any taxes to the debt service levy. So that's good. And hopefully our fellow constituents also see that. So take a look at your own tax bill and see. It should be the same sort of ratios. If it's for me, it should be for you. I'm not saying yours went up 5%. Yours could have gone up 17% for the Village, but hopefully it went up less for the Park District because those should be in line. But nice job keeping us in place, and let's just hope. I think the majority of the people, we usually get high 99 for tax revenue, so that revenue should come up in the next month or so. People have less time to pay, right? You only have 30 days to pay.
And it's around the holidays too, which isn't great.
Yeah. So I think they're all due the 18th?
15th.
15th.
Yeah.
Don't forget to pay your taxes, everybody.
7% of taxes, all the fun. I like to say.
No, but thank you for all that. It's a personal thing of mine. I'd like to see the fitness center doing well, so
Yeah, we're thrilled.
that's good.
Okay, anything else with the treasurers? Okay.
Nothing. Well, let's move on to executive director report. Lisa, will you share a summary of your report and answer any questions?
Excellent. Thank you all for coming out for the Milton Park
Oh, that's-
renovation for our little toddler park. And Kyle did a great job managing that project, and we were very happy with the contractor we used. So that was really, and we'll talk a little bit more about the other stuff. So thank you very much. We have our holiday recognition party, which all the board members are invited on Friday, December 5th. It's a casino night. So in this room, so hopefully you can all make it, even if you stop by for a little bit. That would be very nice for the staff to see the board. That's always a great thing. In the action items, there's two things. One is the IAPD delegate. So as board members, they have annual meeting, and we have to authorize two people to attend that meeting, or one person and then alternate to attend that meeting on the Park District behalf and take any votes that are necessary. Any of you could decide to go. It's usually Saturday at 3:30, or you could designate me and Bobby as alternate. It's up to you if you'd like to do that. It's a really riveting meeting.
When do you need to know that by?
We were going to vote on today, but we don't have to. We could do it next month. So
What's the date of it again?
It's
November.
January. Hold on. What?
January.
January 31, it looks like.
I think I'm out.
I do not. Why am I the only one in town? Usually I'm the person traveling.
Saturday, the 31st. Yeah, the meeting's on a Saturday.
The 31st?
Yep.
Meg, do you have any desire?
I'm not here either that weekend.
Is it a 3-day weekend? Oh,
I have a ski thing with Bobby.
I was like, gosh, I feel,
We're flying United.
thank you. So why don't we put Lisa and Bobby down as the people now, and then I will confer with my calendar and let you know about me.
Or
But
you could put you and then me as alternate, and either way. So it doesn't matter.
We'll check.
Yeah, I
with
think-
Elena's schedule.
Or just do me, and then you could still, it doesn't mean you can't attend the meeting.
Yeah,
You just
I
have to
think
have someone officially.
I think we put Lisa and Bobby as the alternate, and
Okay.
if I can go or
Yeah,
Jack
you
can
can
go,
come.
we'll let you know.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
And then that next thing is that we traditionally budget 2 commissioners to attend the IPRA conference. Sounds like that's probably all we have availability. So tonight we'll approve 2 commissioners and myself, because I have to meetings, so I have to go extra day. Other staff go, but it's within the policy amount. And then if you decide you want to go to conference, then we can easily register you, but we want to,
Yeah.
we'll send the information. If you can go, that'd be great. So that's the second action item. The winter camp guide is out. Thank you, Erin, and actually the whole team. It's
Great.
definitely a team effort. The amount of review we do on that is incredible. So the business services team, the recreation team,
It's nice.
outstanding job. So hope you all found that. Then really, I'm going to turn it to Kyle to tell us an update on the Weinberg project.
All right, well, I'll go through the multiple projects we have out there. So starting with the greenhouse, foundations were poured on Friday. Currently forming up the hip wall, which will be that stone veneer. Hoping to have that finished up by the end of this week. And then backfilling, so we'll be ready to put up the structure when it arrives in January is the tentative delivery date. Maintenance and ball field here at TAKIF got some great news last week. We did get our MWRD permit issued, so we are no longer being held up by any permitting issues for the major work. Very, very exciting news. So very quickly mobilized. They already started excavation on the foundation for the building. The ball field sod got down the other day, and backstop fencing is in progress. So we're in good shape to kind of stick with our original timeframe, with the main goal again being to make sure that field is open in the spring for both affiliate group use, but certainly our internal programs and camps as well. So very positive news there with the maintenance and ball field. Milton, we were at tonight, obviously just those 2 little elements, the willow hut and the swing bench will be installed in the near future. And then our beach survey is going to be released tomorrow. So spread the word about that. And I think December committee will be presenting those results from the beach survey.
Yeah,
So,
yes, that's the other thing we're doing. Yeah, the beach survey will be in December committee also. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, design. only,
capital
yeah.
project
yeah,
designs.
yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other one that's quickly approaching is the Weinberg Rec Center ice rink.
Yeah, we're getting very excited here on the rec team. So day after Thanksgiving, obviously we're open, which is the 28th, starting at 11 a.m. It's a free day for the community. We do that because a lot of the community has family and friends in town for the weekend, and coming out to the rink is a tradition. So we are watching the weather. It wasn't cooperating today, so we're looking to lay ice tomorrow and get as much built up as we can before the weekend, because it's not looking the best for laying ice, unfortunately, but our team does an incredible job. So we're looking to hopefully have that done by the end of the week. Staff training starts next week, and we're praying for good conditions and good skating conditions. And it looks like it's gonna be a perfect opening day with about 31 degrees. So we're very excited for the season. Ready.
Jenna's ready. She turns from swing to ice. Cold and warm water. So, all right. And I think that's really about it. Is there any other questions in my report? Excellent.
Okay. What was some action items? It sound. Sorry, I put the microphone on. We have action items. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve Lisa as the IAPD annual meeting delegate and Bobby as the alternate. So that's a recommended motion.
So moved.
Oh, there we go.
Second.
I'm all in.
We
Any,
can do all in favor.
I'm all in.
any discussion? All in favor? All right.
Aye.
Yep. Okay. Then the approval of the commissioners to attend the IAPD IPRA Soaring to New Heights Conference in January 26. I entertain a motion to approve. I entertain a motion of commissioners to attend IAPD IPRA Soaring to New Heights Conference in January 2026 as presented.
So moved.
Seconded.
Megan?
Megan seconded,
Okay.
and Nicole so moved.
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we're all good.
Yep.
Other business, Lisa, did you want to talk about the agreement with the
I
Highland
do.
Park?
Few things. So
Rink?
we were approached by the Park District of Highland Park. They have noticed it's extremely hard to make ice in the winter. They don't have a refrigerated rink, and with the seasons changing, they'll lay ice the traditional way and they'll be gone in a week. So they asked us if we would be interested in doing a partnership where they advertise our rink as a resident rate for Highland Park residents, but they pay the difference. So anybody who from the Park District of Highland Park, they buy their pass, it looks like residents, but then we submit a bill at the end of the season, 20 residents, 100 residents, they will pay the difference between the resident and non-resident rate, the Park District itself, instead of offering the service with them. They think it'll probably be more cost effective. So if we have a consensus here, I can enter in that it's a memo of understanding with them. I would like to add, though, I am looking at other partnerships that we could do with them. So as, for example, but we couldn't get that deal done by Thanksgiving. So for example, we're really interested in getting resident rates for swim lessons with the Park District Highland Park. So that might be something, just like we do in Northbrook reciprocal. That may be something that they're really interested in. I think maybe in a few years when their new indoor pickleball is up and running for a while, that's something we would like to broach them. Hey, how about can we do something with that? They're not really open to that right now, but in the future, I think they will be, as they're looking for more people to go to their center. So thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that all sounds really great.
Okay.
I really like their proposal, actually.
Yeah.
And especially because I think last year we had maybe a little softening, and maybe it might behoove us with maybe a warmer November, maybe we have less people attending. That might help us.
Exactly.
One thing, just now that you've brought this Highland Park thing up, I don't know if they have indoor tennis courts, but I have heard from a couple people in the community, just a couple, that they've indicated there's other people who would love some type of indoor tennis drills to be able to do resident rate. And I know Winnetka, but so if Highland Park had that, they've looked at, so the Winnetka ones, I guess, fill up immediately. They offer indoor tennis drills to residents and they fill up, and so Glencoe people can never get those.
Okay.
So if there is that option in other towns, as you're looking at these partnership things, maybe Highland Park. Okay, that could be of interest to some Glencoe people.
Okay, so we'll explore
Yeah.
that also.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's something we can explore with them. See if we can do that kind of partnership. So
Yes.
I think it's a great opportunity because Highland Park, if they start advertising our rink, they're right next door. It's gonna be a win-win. So,
Yeah. And it's no financial.
it's no
Right,
financial.
there's
difference.
no
cost
cost
to
to
us.
us.
We'll look
They're
at
paying
that
a difference.
reciprocal in the future, because even if they weren't paying us for the difference, that just the advertising is
Yeah.
worth it alone. So.
Yep.
Yeah, just increase.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's great.
Just easy thing might also be their open gym hours. We use them a lot when there's not open gym here. and
Oh,
My daughter
okay.
Oh.
hoops there.
Okay.
It's like a simple.
Yeah, we could talk about that because
Yeah.
they might want to drum up business. It might be mutual too. So
Yeah.
that's what we try to do instead of building stuff our own. If we can share, if
Yeah.
we're not totally
I think
crowded,
it's a good
we try
idea.
to do those kind of partnerships all the time. Okay, the second
great.
one is we really need a Park District represented to the Village Plan Commission. So I don't know if the board has talked about that.
Yeah.
Anybody interested in that? We've got to officially vote on it in December. But if anybody has a real desire to do that plan commission, it's not as bad as you think. I think they said the meetings are 3 hours long. Once every couple months. They're not
Yeah.
even every month.
So I'm going to look to the newest member of the board to see if this is something that you'd be interested in taking on. We all have extracurriculars. I think who's doing Watts?
Not me.
Who's doing Weinberg right now?
We dissolved that a
Dissolved that.
couple months ago.
Thank goodness. You've got lakefront.
Yes.
You've got lakefront. I've got early childhood.
I have an interest, but I know if Garrett, I mean.
I won't fight you for it.
Yeah, I think, can I just say that maybe between now and December 2nd,
Yeah.
it's gonna be one of you two and you can figure it out and let us know.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, so we have a
That's perfect.
a plan forward.
Love it. Thank you. Thanks for your consideration.
That's you.
And that would be it. There's no need to enter an executive session.
Well, perfect. Then I recommend a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I.
I
Aye. Thank you, team.